Howdy, Possum Patty here, and today's video is an open collab co-hosted by Susan at Susan Hiles Art and Sheree at Turquoise Dreaming, and the collab is hashtag Stencil with Us, and this is for the month of April. And because I have some new stencils from Panda Haul Selected, I am going to review these. This is an awesome pack of stencils, so come on along. So today's prompt for April 8th is to create a masterboard with stencils and then use that and cut it up into tags for your junk journal. So first thing I'm going to do before I get to the stencils, and I'll get to those in a few minutes, is just make a painty paper background, throwing those on the floor, on some pieces of watercolor paper. Now I took out my set of gelatos because I bought these years and years ago and I never used them. So this is a great opportunity to use supplies you don't usually use. I broke them down into 4 color families because you do not want to make mud, although this one will be dark like mud. So I have a sort of pinks and purples and blues, nice spring colors with the yellows and greens. So this will be one page, that'll be another page, and then some golds and oranges and reds, and some darker colors, which will be for my steampunk journal. So I haven't done this in a really long time, and I was watching somebody the other day do painty paper backgrounds, trying to keep these in their color families here. So let's try one, and I'm just going to use this mat right here. And what I'm going to do is just put these right on the mat. And this gelato is called elderberry. Elderberries grow down the street. And I made some elderberry dye. And this one is called Fig. F-I-G. That one is Fig. And this one is Metallic Blueberry. Ooh, that's pretty. Metallic Blueberry. And let's put some purple on there. This is Metallic Grape. Gelatos were all the thing. Everybody was buying gelatos. This one is Strawberry. And I am not a card maker. I did use them in a couple of journals though. And this one is Watermelon. Go this way? Sure, why not? Okay. Okay, so I have my gelatos on the mat. I'm going to activate them with some water. Get them nice and juicy. And this is just for a background for me to stencil on top of. This paper's kind of big, so it might take a couple, look at that, couple of pressings to get that on there. Okay, flip it over. Now, because this is a masterboard is basically, well, I got a lot of dendrite stuff going on there. A card that you use to make smaller projects with. I think it works actually a little better with a little bit less water. Like I said, I haven't done this in a while, so I'm just going to take off some of those puddles so I can get some more of this off of here. I didn't know it was going to make dendrites. That's very cool. I just wanted to put something on the background before I stenciled. Get the edges. You want to go right to the edges because with a masterboard you'll be cutting it up into different projects. So I think that's all a masterboard is, just something that you cut up and use for other things. I think I got all the water up. I might have to add just a little bit more water. See what happens there. I'm using the watercolor paper because it's absorbent. So I can get everything onto the paper, and then I will let it dry. And then I will get to the stenciling. Too much right there. Okay, I like all of it, except for maybe the watermelon. I'm not too sure about the watermelon, but it does add an interesting touch. Does add an interesting touch. Picking up some of the puddles. Okay, that's just a background. That's just an interesting background. Number 1. And I want to remove these colors. I'm going to clean this off. Okay, I'm putting down the greens. I've got buttercream and kiwi, and this one is iced pear. Lighter green, and let's see, metallic mint. This looks like a more of a blue green than a yellow green. And this one is Aqua Dulce. Aqua Dulce. Aqua Dulce. It's just more of a blue. Okay, just scribble those on. Okay, not too much water. See how it works with a lighter bit of water. Gotta stand up. Get another piece of paper. Gotta give the paper a minute to absorb the color and the water. Now this is watercolor paper that has a lot of texture to it. I don't know what these little blobs are. Maybe I didn't get it cleaned up well enough. Alright, let's try some more. And this is just the background. So this is like no big thing. It's going to be covered all up with stencils. Got some more dendrites going there. I think you need a little bit of water. It's like, got to get the exact right amount of water to get those dendrites. Too much and it runs. Too little and it doesn't pick it up. Just blot a couple of the puddles. Oh, I love this right there. And remember, I got to get to the edge. I'm going to cover the whole paper. You don't want a big puddle. Ooh, that is so cool right there. It doesn't have to be very dark because I'm going to be putting colors on top of it. Just something interesting for the background. I think what I want is some more of the darker color though. Now, I mean, it's not real dark, but you know, that can go on there because that's wet. I'll have to get all this off before I can do it again. I don't know why that's not coming off. I like that color, but it's not coming up. There we go. Now I've got it. So when you're working with green, you want to add a little bit of yellow and a little bit of blue. Because blue and yellow make green, of course. I feel like I need something in this corner. Pretty much covered it. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other two pages using the other two color families. That's just like a big blob of something. That's probably glue and stuff coming off the mat because the mat's not super clean. But that's okay. Okay, so that'll be a good background for greens. Okay, I'm going to do it with the browns. And we have, I have no idea what color that is because this one doesn't say. Oh, there it's on the end. Iced coffee, iced rosé, iced chai, two of those. And gold champagne. That'll be the grungy one. And then the orangey reddish one is going to be guava, peach, caramel. Oh, this sounds delicious, doesn't it? Melon. These are all edibles. And currant. Oh my gosh, these are all food. Okay, I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. So this is the grungy one. With the browns, it does have some metallic shine to it. The reds, greens and yellows, and the purple and pink, but it turned out to be mostly purple and blue. A little bit of pink in there. So when you're doing like a mixed media, you want to build up the layers. You start with the flat things first. So I put the colors in the background as something to work on. And before I get to the stencils, I am going to just put some random stamps on each one just to build up more interest in the background. And I'm going to use this one that has numbers. And this is a, I have no idea, Hampton Art. And this one is Script. And this is a Hero Arts. And this is a set from Stamping Up that I got at the flea market. And it's just some sprigs. This one has berries, this one has seeds, and this one has flowers. And going with a spring theme here. Although I'm thinking I should probably do something different on this one, but stick with it. Alright, so I got all these Distress inks at a flea market quite a while ago. Pennsylvania. I wish we had one that was like that one here. We do have the flea market, but there was this one vendor. She always had craft supplies, brand new, in the package, really good price compared to what you have to pay, you know, at the store. Okay, I'm using Dusty Concord Distressed Ink. It's like a dark purple for the numbers. And for the script, I'm going to use Peacock Feathers. Haven't used these in a while. Gotta juice them up. I think the purple and the teal go really nice with the background colors. Remember to get the edges. After stamping, I'm going to move on to some flat stencil work and then on to some three-dimensional stencil work. So let me put some of these flowers in there. You want things going off in all directions because this paper is just going to get cut up. And maybe I should put some purple ones in here too. Alright, let's go back to the purple. Dusty Concord Grape. Don't forget the edges. Okay, that's looking pretty good. You can see that there's a texture color in the background. And then the stamps. And I'll have even more layers on top. Okay, I'm going to go off camera right now and do the same exact things to these pages. Second layer done. And the stamps just add some texture. You can see some script there, a little flower. Some script, another flower, just a subtle background. You can see some numbers in there. Building it up layer by layer. You can always leave a little bit of white coming through. For the color of the paper, whatever color paper you're using. Okay, now my first set of stencils is going to be flat, and then maybe I will put on some texture paste or something. And cat's on my chair. Put them down, get the stencils. So again, this is from Panda Haul Selected, and I will link their website and a coupon code and a link to get these. And this is a lovely big leaf or feather. And there are 15 stencils in this set. And every one of them are gorgeous. Look at that. I love that. I love it. I love it. This one's a big fern. You know that's going on there. some feathers, another fern, seed pods, berries, leaves, big fern. When I ordered these, I didn't realize how large they were. I mean, but they're mixed up. Some sheets have multiples, and some sheets, I love this, have just one large one on it. And this has a bunch of small ones. So whatever you need. So I'm going to go get a brush, I think. Okay, I'm going to use my Dollar Tree makeup brushes. A couple of people, well, I think Dolores had gifted me one, and then I went to the Dollar Tree and bought a couple more in different sizes. And I'm going to be building this page up, so these don't necessarily have to be dark either. Kind of subtle, might make it darker than that. Cat wants to climb up on my shoulder. How's that? Perfect. That is perfect. Okay, this is going to be quite a long, tedious process. I'm going to put a couple of stencils like that on each page. Whoops. And then I will come back and show you. Okay, third layer done. Using the makeup brush and the very large stencils, just get a nice soft imprint on the background. So there's the grungy one. And the reds, I used this stencil on this one. And the purples and pinks with the lovely fern. And then the greens with the other fern. So you can see I've got 3 layers, but you can still see each individual layer. You can still see the background, the stamping, and all the light stencils. My next step is to put on some dimension, and I'll be using smaller stencils and something that's going to give the color a little bit of body. Okay, the next and maybe final layer, I'm not sure about that. I gotta move some of these inks out of the way, excuse me. It's going to be something a little bit more three-dimensional. I'm going to use the stencil that has the smaller leaves and berries and seed pods on it. And I have this iridescent medium that's quite thick. And I got this years and years and years ago on sale, probably at AC Moore, in their clearance section. When I was going to AC Moore, I don't have any around where I live now, but when I was going there, I used to love to look in the clearance section and see what kind of mediums they had on sale, because you can use any of these thicker ones for texture paste. And if they're on clearance or 50 or 60% off, you get a good deal. Okay, so what I'm going to do, it's probably not enough to do anything. And it's just, it's iridescent and it's just kind of like a silver color. I'm going to mix some paint in there. And I'm going to start with, I think, just a drop of this transparent raw sienna. Now these I also got on a sidewalk sale. So it's like the regular price was like $12.79 and I got it for $2. Really nice acrylic paint. Which I really don't do acrylic paintings anymore. I just kind of do this mixed media maybe. Okay, that wasn't coming out, so I'm just going to grab a little bit of that. Of course, I shouldn't have done that with a dirty palette knife. Okay, this is my steampunk, grungy, vintage paper. I think I'm going to do a couple this color and then I'm going to add a darker color to this. So get some with different colors. Just spread that on. I'm not doing a very good job, but that's okay. It looks good. Very iridescent too. Okay, that's got texture to it. Okay, this mat is from the Dollar Tree. Remember back in the olden days when things cost $1. I got this mat and it was pretty dirty, but after now all this working on it, it's actually getting cleaner. Okay, I'm going to try that again. Why I haven't done this in so long. Oops, don't go under the stencil. Go on top of the stencil. Doesn't have to be smooth. There could be a bit of texture to it. There you go. Got that one. Put some more of the stuff. Oh, here goes the banging on the door. Oop, I had that one really nice. The banging on the door has begun. Ooh, look at those. Came out nice. I let the cat in. Okay, I did a few more on here and I want to put in some more, but I can't get in there while this is wet. So I'm going to let this dry. As you can see, I went a little bit darker here and I want to go a little bit darker yet. You don't want to jump to dark, you kind of want to do it in stages so it all kind of goes together. So I'm going to put that down there to dry for a while. And I'm going to work a little bit on the green. You know, I'm doing this project because, you know, these mediums don't last forever. After they've been opened, they do tend to dry up a little bit. Of course, it helps if you keep the cap on. I wonder if I should wipe that out. Ooh, there's a lot of stuff in there. Okay, so I'm going to go with I might start with a lighter green and do a few leaves and then go a little bit darker. Maybe I'll put a little yellow in there. See what that looks like. That's a very dark green. Oh, it's a grassy green. That's fine. I want more yellow in there. Maybe I do. Want a little bit more yellow. I'm going to go with a darker yellow. Make this more like an olive color. Although spring greens don't have that color. Maybe this color. Maybe a little yellow oxide. Something that looks a little bit more natural. It's good. All right, now I have a different stencil for this one. I think I'm going to go with big leaf here. Now this big leaf will get cut up into smaller leaves, into smaller bits, once I start making the tags. Now you put the paint on the back of the palette knife, not the front of the palette knife. I know that, but I keep doing it the wrong way. I don't have a nice oh, and you know what? I do have a spatula. Now this doesn't have to be perfect by any means on the back. And ooh, me likey, me likey. I have to be careful how I go around the page here, so can't put anything on top of that one while it's wet. I got enough here for another one. A scoop on the back here. I don't have any fancy stenciling tools. Nice, wow. Very nice stencils. I'm loving these. Should we do the other one on this side? Can I get it? I have to get it in there without bumping into that. Let's see. Could try here. I'm going to put my elbow in it, but that's okay. This is an old shirt. This little cup is hard to scrape out of. I need a better mixing cup. Alright, you probably watched enough of this. So I can Probably go off camera for a little while because I'm going to have to let this one dry and start another one. And then let that one dry and work on the last one, then go back to the first one and add a little more. And then I will show you what everything looks like. And then I will cut them up into tags. And we'll see how that goes. Oops. Nice. All right, so I will be back. Okay, this layer is almost dry, and I'm thinking, what haven't I used yet? I'd like to add some butterflies. This is a nice soft stencil. Oh, by the way, I cleaned off the Panda Hall stencils. And basically, all I did was run it under water, and they came out perfectly clean. No scrubbing. I had them underwater, wiped them with a paper towel, and they were clean, clean, clean. It's that really nice plastic material that doesn't hold on to the paint or the ink. Okay, I haven't used gouache yet and a sponge because I did a brush and a very light layer with ink. I did the paste, and now I'm going to try sponging with some gouache. Gouache is an opaque watercolor. And if you don't use these up, they get hard. And let's see, sponge, sponge, sponge. I just had sponges. Don't want to put too much water. Cat's going crazy. I told her she could go with me to get the mail, but it's too early to get the mail right now. But she thinks it's time to go, and it's not. Now this is watercolor paper, so I can get it as wet as I want. Had too much water, so that came out blobby. Too much water makes it blobby. Now I'm just going to sort of water that off. And dry it. And try it again. Alright, gotta get the hang of this. Maybe I should have started a practice paper. Maybe I should dry my sponge. Maybe I should dry my stencil. Too much water, too blobby. Remember that. Write that down. Too much water, too blobby. Oh, one cat's in the room. The other one's trying to come in. All right, see if that worked better. That worked a little better. Okay, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. I'm going between the three-dimensional stencils. And again, this is for my steampunk, grungy, vintage, nature journal that I haven't started yet. Oh, that's pretty. Do I need to dry this as I go along. Dry quickly. Almost everything I do has a nature theme. Once in a while I stick in a building. I do like windows and doors, but maybe because they look out on nature or they get you out to nature. Oh, we gotta go get the door. I decided to take a little bit of this brown, which is really raw sienna, raw sienna, and go around some of these shapes. Maybe make them stand out a little bit more. I can just paint around it like this and then dab it with the paper. Just gives it like a little bit of a brown outline. I could probably do this with a sponge. Kind of brings them out a little bit more, I think. Okay, I am going to stencil the other three papers just with that butterfly again. So it'll be the same process on each one. And I'll be back. Well, I decided to run a few of these out to completion just because I was curious to see how they were going to come out. So I took my brown sheet and I cut out some tags using some dies, and then I added a little bit of ephemera from the Tim Holtz Field Notes, which I dumped on my desk, so I had to hold on to that. And I sealed it all in with a little bit of matte medium. And I added just a touch of Mod Podge Extreme Glitter. Just a touch. So let me show you how they came out. I did distress around the edge. And somebody was talking the other day about using corrugated cardboard to make lines on the back of tags. And I said, oh, you know what? I have this piece of, well, it's kind of like paper, but it's almost like a corrugated cardboard. And I was using it on my jelly printing the other day. And I said, well, let me try that. I just tapped it in the ink and tapped it on there to get those very vintagey lines. I love it. And I schmoed a little of the distress ink on there when I distressed it. And I printed those lines. So I think now they're very grungy, very vintage, but they got a bit of nature on them. I love this one. You can see the stencil there, the 3D stencil. I have the focal points there. And in the background, focus, you can see a little bit of the stenciling, a little bit of the stamping. It just makes a really interesting background texture on the cards. Here's another one. You can see the stenciling. Of course, those big seed pods there. But in the background, you can see the stamping and the butterfly stencils there. And just a tiny touch of green I put on this one, on top of the brown. And you can see a little bit of that green right there. So here's the stenciling and the stamping. And then the gelatos in the background, and some more stamping over here, some more stenciling over there. Again with the lines on the back. And then I made a few small ones. You can see the big stencil there. Made a little mushroom one. You can see the stencil and the stamping. The lines on the back. Get my bug. Big stencil in the back of that one. And then these two did not die cut all the way through, so I put them back in the machine and finished cutting them out. It's like one side die cut but not the other. I don't know why. And then for some reason, and I never do this, I put a piece of painter's tape, a little piece, to hold the dies down, maybe because I had like 6 of them on the paper at one time. And then when I pulled the tape up, it took off some of this paste, texture paste here, and I did rip a little bit of the paper there. But I'm thinking, and a little bit on there, not much, a little bit on there, that I can just add a little bit more to these tags. I can put something where the paper ripped up and it's all white. Put a little something up there, distress them, and finish these off. So, but I'm loving this. I don't think I've ever really made anything that was grungy, and I think that looks grungy. I didn't know I had it in me. I like them, I like them, I like them. With the bugs and the mushrooms and the butterflies. I think they came out pretty cool, pretty cool. Or as the kids would say, fire. Is that the opposite of cool? No, it means the same thing. Okay, now the other sheets, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on these and then share these with my Share Your Art Saturday video, because I still have to do some more stenciling, and then I have to cut these up and then finish them off. But as you can see, the subtle stamping in the background, the more bold the subtle stenciling in the background, and the more bold stenciling on top. And then the pink and purple one. With this one, the darker colors are in the background, the lighter colors on the top. Kind of just the opposite of that one. So I'll be working on these and making some tags. And I'll probably just follow the same process that I used on these. And that is stamp some butterflies and then cut them up and finish them off as tags. So I want to thank Susan at Susan Hiles Art and Sheree at Turquoise Dreaming for coming up with this fun collab, and we'll be working with stencils every Friday this month. And I really kind of overdid my first project here. We're doing 4 motherboards. I keep wanting to call them masterboards. 4 motherboards that I can cut into ephemera. But I really like how these came out. So, and thank you for coming along today, and stay tuned and tune in tomorrow to see how the rest of these motherboards come out. Bye-bye.